Welcome back to Talking Lead. It's episode 82, and we are back from our visit with the dentist. Actually, I never went. I didn't go. I'm going to do it, Sherman, if you're listening.
How many people are surprised that Zeke didn't go? Raise your hand.
I'm going to go.
I see no hands.
I gotta get it done, man. My teeth are hurting, especially before Colorado.
I'm telling you, man, just let me have a whack at it. I'll take care of it.
Let's not talk about little pricks in my mouth and you want to have a whack at it. No.
I'll tie that son of a gun up to the door with a piano string. We'll get rid of it.
Yeesh. No, thank you. Talking about Colorado, don't forget people go to Iron Hammer
When were we talking
Armory.
about Colorado?
Just a minute. I said it. I said I got to get the tooth done before
Colorado? Okay.
Go to ironhammerarmory.com and you can see the Circle the Wagons event. Sign up for it there. Awesome event. You're going to be able to get a lot of training.
It's going to be really awesome, man.
It's going to be fun, man. We're going to have a blast. So, yeah, just make sure you go to ironhammerarmory.com. Check that out. Sign up. Come out there and see us, or don't just ignore us and look at all the other cool stuff that's going to be out there. Colorado Springs, Colorado, end of the month. Labor Day weekend. Also, don't forget the 1776 United contest we got going. We got a couple more. Still, we're still under 20. We're still under 20.
What an awesome contest. Yep. And only 20 entrants. Can you believe that?
So you can use the code FREEDOM to get some free shipping on that shirt. So just make sure you post a picture of yourself in that shirt any cool way.
You don't have to be in the shirt.
Yeah.
The shirt just needs to be in the picture.
We've had somebody put it on a potbelly pig, and that counts.
That counts. The shirt's in the picture.
Yep.
If you want to be in the picture, you can. You don't have to be. It's not mandatory.
Yep.
But the cooler, the weirder, the wilder, I don't want to know, sexier? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
We've had a few sexy ones.
Who knows? It might get you the grand prize, which is a Two Vets Arms Bravo rifle.
Valued at about $1,300 and $1,500, somewhere in there.
Yeah, you can go to their website, check it out.
Two Vets Arms Bravo, which we're looking at. They may be coming into town to help judge it.
Well, they should. I think they should.
Dean and Amber both.
I think 1776 should come in too.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about it. What'd you do cool with guns this week?
You did something cool with guns, not necessarily with guns, but you started watching The Killing.
I did. It was a good show, man.
Did I not tell you? It sucks you in.
If you like crime dramas and you like dark stuff,
it is extremely dark.
I will give a disclaimer. If you have kids, there's an aspect of the show that's going to kind of really get to you, but it's still well done.
It is just a show.
Yeah, it's just a show.
So just keep that in mind.
The crime drama part of it, I love because I can't figure it out.
What do you think about Detective Holder? Isn't he a thug?
He's all gangsta.
But I think he's really like Swedish or something.
Oh, really?
So
that's his version of his American accent?
I think so. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You were looking up and seeing what else they were in. He was in something that was...
I hadn't looked him up yet. I didn't look from air.
Fairly part, but Enos, what's her name?
Morelli or something?
Morelli Enos or something like that. She was in...
Did you ask Chad if she's related to him?
I did. Did you? He said, no, I wish. I was like, dude, that's incest.
You did something with guns kind of sort of like that. You were building a little following on your trip to Indiana.
What you talking about, Willis?
Talking to all kinds of people, and they were like into firearms, and you had
I've noticed that more and more.
You're building a gang.
Yeah, I've made a couple of stops here and there, and the conversation, especially if it's involving me, will somehow get revolved around firearms. I'll find a way to work it in. And I think we probably picked up another, 20, 30
sweet
subscribers. And even today, on the way here and to Arrington, I stopped at the gas station. This kid was over there pumping gas. I was getting in my car, and he's waving at me. I was like, hey.
Uh-huh.
And he was pointing at the side of the truck. So I got out and went over and started talking to him. And he goes, hey, man. He goes, that's a really cool truck you got there. What do you guys do?
Yeah.
So I... hey, we're talking lead. I describe us as a firearms entertainment network.
That's pretty much what I say.
I said we're a firearms entertainment network, and he goes, "Oh man, what's that? Trick shooting." I was like, "Well, I don't know that it's trick shooting, but it's entertaining when we shoot."
Yeah.
But I got to talking to him about that, and he was very excited. He was going to go home and look us up and subscribe to us. And then another stop that I made. There was a guy there, and he saw the truck, and he was like, hey, another conversation started.
Uh-huh.
So I had another opportunity to tell a guy about who we are, what we do. He's got 2 sons that are in the military.
Nice.
And I gave him my contact information. He's going to have them get in touch with us.
Awesome.
So you've been watching the Killing.
Yep. It's
so I got you hooked on that. So that's payback for getting me hooked on that the little person show.
Oh, with Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Damn you.
Oh my gosh. There is a movie coming out. I can't wait to see. It's got Adam Sandler, him, and then a couple other people, and they're a crew of video game developers that get hired by the government because 80s video game characters are coming to real life and like destroying the country and the world.
Oh, sweet.
So they get hired as video game developers to go fight these guys.
That will be awesome.
So our special guest this week is Mr. Rob Pincus.
Welcome in, Rob.
Hey, guys. It's good to be back. I haven't been on in a while.
Yeah, no, it's been, 6-7 months? Something like that.
I don't know. It seems like it, but this is the tour month. So, from March to August pretty much occupies the space of 3 normal human years in my brain.
Yeah. And you're up in Canada right now.
I am. I'm about to escape from Canada. I had last week like one of the most epic road trips. Probably, I would have to say, the most epic road trip that I've ever made.
Really?
Through British Columbia and Yukon up to Alaska from the Pacific Northwest, and just truly amazing. And I had no real concept of just how vast Canada is, just in general, right? And knew it was going to be a big drive, but really, even though it's been planned in theory, like Rob planned since December, I knew I was doing it. I didn't really look at the map or start looking at mileage until about a week before the trip. So,
really?
Let's just say that, yeah. So I was sitting in Portland, Oregon. I was like, let me throw this up in the, Google map. And it was like 37 and a half hours to my first planned stop, which I thought was going to be like, 200 miles from the border or something. So
Your first planned stop.
37 hours.
So the plan changed. And it was, like I said, it was epic. But now I'm driving through what is the Canadian version of Nebraska. All due respect to Nebraska, it's just not an exciting drive. So I'm crossing through Saskatchewan on the way back to Ohio,
Nebraska,
and it's just like it's incredibly it's boring. It's not exciting. Yes.
So you educated me earlier today that Nebraska, Canada, is Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Saskatchewan is obviously Canadian for Nebraska and Iowa combined times 7 because it's huge.
Is it a lot of corn?
That's why it's such a long word.
A lot of corn like in Nebraska?
I don't know. It's wheat. It's like winter wheat. It's,
wow.
I don't know if they have corn up here.
That's where they make all that Canadian beer from.
God bless them for it.
What's the name of that Canadian beer that the
Labatt Blue or
Labatt?
Oh, you're talking about from the
Hosers drink.
Yeah,
the McKinsey brothers.
If you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you. I don't remember.
Something blue.
Somebody will tell us.
I'll remind you. I have to tell somebody to take off, before I leave the country.
That's right,
So I'm taking off,
We got our second biggest country that downloads us is Canada. So there's a bunch of fans up there.
Well, actually, it's funny. I stopped in Prince George, British Columbia. And I met up with one of the guys I know from Instagram there, and he was kind of updating me on some of the gun law changes. There's actually a lot of positive gun law changes happening in Canada now, and it's pretty cool actually. And so to get that up, I actually put it up as one of our Personal Defense Network training tour updates about a week and a half ago. Interesting because we think of Canada as being this horrible gun law country, and it's really not great. But in some ways, it's better than some of our most restrictive states.
Oh, sure.
Once you have a permit, there's no registration on your purchases. You can walk into a store. The guy was telling me, walk into a store and buy an SKS for $100, no paperwork, no registration, walk out with it. And then they also are changing, they're rolling back some laws about transportation of pistols. So if you have a pistol license, right now you have to pretty much get permission to take it out of your house. And what they're going to be doing is changing it so it's more like New Jersey, where if you're going to a range or to some shooting event, you can take it from your home to that area without any special permission. So things are moving in the right direction, I guess, here in Canada, even though they took some huge steps backwards a few decades ago.
Your accent sounds less Ohio and more Canada. I just hadn't heard enough A's.
Oh, yeah, I've been working on it,
You've actually been in Alaska, right?
Well, yeah. So this trip was all about ending the Personal Defense Network training tour for 2014 in Alaska. So I drove up, did a class, my very first class in Alaska. Alaska was the last state for me to spend any time in. I've spent time now in all 50 states. Haven't taught in all 50 states yet, but did do a class in Alaska. And it was just, it extended the tour by about 3 weeks. Normally the tour would end in the Pacific Northwest, either Seattle or Portland at the end of July. And this year we ended it just a few days ago in Alaska. And I haven't even, just because the internet connection and communications, just even getting on the phone with you guys today has been a little bit of a timing and planning issue. I haven't even uploaded the last couple updates for the training tour. So the training tour, as far as our messaging and our updates that we do, the video updates, they'll still continue to come out for the next week or two.
So tell us what all you did up in Alaska.
Really, that's the thing, is it really just turned into the trip. Like, it just, this Canada thing is so massive, this whole entity that is Canada, that the days that I had planned on, like, oh, it'll take me a couple days to drive up, and then I'll mess around for a few days, and I'll do this, I'll do that, and then I'll take a couple days to drive home, they all just disappeared because of this crazy amount of driving. I mean, 4,000 miles from where I did the class on Sunday to where I need to be for the Polypalooza conference in Ohio this Sunday. It was like 3,900 miles and change. So, and then I had 3 days, as you guys know, I had to fly back to New York to do the Fox and Friends piece, and that ate up 3 days.
Yep.
So while I have taught in Alaska and I have spent time in Alaska now, I really didn't hike up to the top of Mount McKinley. I didn't go to Anchorage. I didn't go fishing. I didn't do any of the Alaska stuff.
Sarah.
Palin. The governor, yes, the former Governor Palin, but I did not get to have coffee or look at Russia or anything.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you sit on her back porch and look at Russia?
Did you run and touch Russia?
That's not at all. I saw bears and mooses, and I saw reindeers and sheep. I mean, there was a lot of wildlife up there. It was great. The scenery was incredible, and the drive, just camping. I've got one of these ARB rooftop tents on top of the tour truck, so probably about 3 nights out of 4, I've just been camping different campgrounds or provincial parks in Canada. It's just been so that part of it's been very cool, but it has really been about the journey. So people say that life's about the journey, not the destination. Well, in this case, this 2 weeks has definitely been a journeying nomadic experience. It's been great.
Awesome. And wow, I mean, you drove all the way to Alaska. You hop on a plane, go to New York, fly back to Alaska. Now you're driving back to Ohio.
We've got to commend you. Very nice book placement on the bedside table in that interview.
On the Fox and Friends interview? Product placement
I was not
key,
sure about plugging the book, so we definitely had to do some product placement there, and I'm glad it got some exposure. It was interesting. It was a unique opportunity. It was one, you guys know me. I can't say no to something like that, to be able to reach out to literally millions of people with some huge messaging opportunity for responsibility, as well as our self-defense rights, and a message that I'm pretty passionate about. So there was no way I was going to say no, but it did require 11 hours there. I was 16 hours on the ground in Manhattan, and then 14 hours flying back after a 6-day drive, before teaching 2 days, and now a 5-day drive back. So it's made. I normally am in constant motion, but honestly, August 2014 will probably be the most epic travel month for me, maybe in my life. I don't know, because once I get back to Ohio, I'm going to Florida, then I'm flying to Colorado, and then back to Florida, and then back to Texas. I'll end the month in Texas. So it's, and July was a lot of coast-to-coast travel, too. So definitely
insane.
September is going to be a little calmer. September is going to calm down a little bit.
So tell us about your Fox and Friends experience. You got any cool stories to tell us about that?
Well, I know at the beginning I got a little worried because he was excited about getting you in that bed.
And well, let's set it up. I mean, Rob had an opportunity to get on Fox Network, Fox and Friends, and promote gun safety. It was a huge honor that they would have a spot like that, and then of course to ask Rob on that to do that was just tremendous. So you did an excellent job, by the way, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that it had been planned for about a month. They were doing a feature on really featuring around kids and gun safety all around that topic for this first week in August. So for about a month, I've been talking to their producers, and we knew we were going to do something. And I happened to be teaching in New Jersey about 3 weeks ago, and I was going to just run up there, tape it in the studio, and go back to Jersey and go on about my business. And it was literally going to take 4 hours, right? Max. And then it turned into, well, we want you in the studio. Okay, well, you want me in the studio, but I'm going to be in Alaska that week. Well, they let me pick the day of the week, which was cool of them. And once we narrowed down the fact that I did have this opportunity to get on a plane and fly out there back and forth, and it would work, and it wouldn't interfere with the trip, and it wouldn't interfere with the class, then it was pretty much set in stone. So, of course, I had, Gun Vault send some quick access safes, and I had some other friends send some inert replicas. Just getting a gun-like device into Manhattan was its own set of hurdles to jump through.
I didn't even think about that.
So I get into town 4:00 the night before. I hook up with a couple friends. I go see some people run around. I love Manhattan, so just the opportunity to spend a few hours there seeing some people, going to some of the places I like to go when I'm in town was fun. And that was sort of when it struck me, that evening was the first time I had a chance to really kind of start collecting my thoughts around what the next morning, what I was actually going to do. I mean, I knew the basic concept, but there's no script or anything. So they were really big on showing this timing difference between an unsecured gun and a secured gun, and showing how there's minimal difference and yet huge benefit to have the gun in the quick access safe, which is true. Except to me, those demonstrations always seem very contrived, right? If I want to move a little slower getting the gun out of the box, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And when you're talking about mere seconds, it's real easy to fake that. So I really didn't want to play into that because it doesn't really prove anything. And at the same time, it can be attacked very easily as being kind of a half-assed demo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to kind of scoot across that and just philosophically talk about the concept and principle of keeping the gun secured, and then show that it can come out very fast. Well, they really wanted a scenario, but the whole thing was only 3.5 minutes long. So yeah, when they said, we want you laying in the bed, I'm like, well, I'm wearing a sports coat. I'm in the bed. I'm in the bed alone. I don't none of this works for me.
This is not working for me, guys.
I was getting worried because he started off with, well, you want to lay in the bed? Go ahead. Get in the bed.
He's like,
Come
no,
on, Rob.
really, lay
Come on,
down.
Rob. Get in the bed. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
And you could tell your adrenaline was
so,
going too.
Oh well, I have me. I mean, I'll talk fast when I
you're
need to.
ready
So I had a lot of things I wanted to throw out there. Well, ultimately, it worked. I think it worked out really well. And then the great compliment was then the producer the next morning, she said, "Hey, listen, everybody loved it so much, we want to do it again on Sunday." And I said, well, for the weekend. So, and she said, and I know you can't do that, but, can one of your guys, she knows me and IC training and the combat focus shooting program by this point well enough to know that we have some depth in terms of our cadre and our instructors. So Omari Broussard from 10X Defense out there in California, he's still active duty on a Monday through Friday basis with the Navy, but he has weekends free. So, I reached out to him and we got him on a plane, flew him out, and then he did a great job with very similar messaging and very similar explanation for why it's a perfectly brilliant idea to secure your defensive firearms in a quick access safe. He did the same thing Sunday morning. And, really, for me, it was a really proud moment. I'm up in Alaska teaching, and here's my lead instructor for the combat focus shooting program, a good friend of mine, one of our personal defense network contributors, all these things doing an amazing job. I always say that if I do, roll off a cliff driving around in the PDN tour truck or whatever, there's this huge legacy in the CFS world and in the cadre at IC Training Company to carry the message on and the banner on and really to innovate and do their own things just as well. And Omari is a great example of that. So it was great to kind of have that play out on a national stage last week.
Awesome.
I didn't get to see his segment. Did he carry the torch proud?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. He's so much more Omari is more laid back than I am. So you watch it, and he really puts out basically the same information. But when you watch it, it seems like his segment's 20 minutes long because he didn't, he doesn't have that kind of rush to throw out 5 extra sentences every time
he didn't
the
have
other guy's
that
breathing.
5-hour energy buzz going on.
I guess not. No, maybe that's it. I got to send him a Red Bull or something.
There you go. Well, I know we just notified you of what our jackwagon train is, so now it's time for the jackwagon train.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
Oh, let's hear it.
All right, so this week's jackwagon train, there is a couple of senators out in California, right?
Well, there's
Or congressman.
Yeah, it's stemming from California, so that should be no surprise from anybody. But what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to ban civilians from possessing body armor.
Right, and it's HR 5344 is the proposal they've done. And I made a post as soon as I heard this okay, yeah, well, I propose that we ban deadbolt locks because bad guys can hide behind a deadbolt in their house, and that keeps them safe. It's ridiculous.
Well, and this just goes to show you how naive these people are. The bill will keep military body armor out of the wrong hands, really. It would ensure that only law enforcement, firefighters, or other first responders would be able to access enhanced body armor. Okay, criminals don't go through proper channels to get their stuff anyway. Yep. If they want to get it, they're going to get it.
Well, and here's the thing that kind of points to something even scarier, and we don't like to get on to conspiracy theories here, but part of their reasoning for assault weapons bans and other firearms regulations is because these weapons cause severe damage. What severe damage does body armor cause? So that kind of leads you to think there's a ulterior motive going on.
Well, there's nothing more dangerous than an unstoppable, well-armed shooter, according to these jackwagons.
Rob, what's your take on all this?
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say. First of all, you got the California, check the box on that. So you've also got the idea that there are, hundreds of bills that are completely, they have zero chance of ever becoming law that are introduced every year. And I certainly would expect that this is one of them. Once again, it's one of those knee-jerk reactions that addresses a tiny, 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 tiny symptom as opposed to the bigger picture of crime and violence and the fact that there is evil in the world. And we need to be prepared to deal with that evil. And, of course, as you guys have noted, the only effect this is going to have is to keep law-abiding citizens who might want to have bulletproof vest in their closet to throw over their kid in the house if there's a bad guy or multiple bad guys who are armed coming into their home, or the convenience store clerk that has to work in the bad part of town at 3 o'clock in the morning that might want to wear that bullet-resistant vest underneath of his uniform shirt to keep himself safe because the place and all the places within 2 miles have been robbed 6 times by armed men.
Or the college
they're the only
student
people that are going to be stopped by this.
Yeah, or the college student who wants to put it in his book bag. That
absolutely. Or the parents that want to take the front part of the vest and the back part of the vest and put it into their 2 kids' backpacks and send them to school.
Exactly.
So just the idea that you're going to legislate away evil by restricting law-abiding citizens' access to a defensive tool, same old story, same old ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely is.
Yeah. So
what are those guys' names?
Well, this one guy is Michae. How do you say that?
McKay?
McKay Honda. His last name's Honda.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm sure he's got some other people backing him, but he seems to be the front runner on pushing this. So we're going to go ahead and throw Micah Honda on the jackwagon train.
Welcome to the jackwagon train. So, Rob, what do you got coming up?
Well, Polypalooza is this weekend. It starts Saturday. I'm teaching on Sunday. That's a great conference. We lost Paul Gomez a year and a half ago, I guess, a little over a year ago.
Yeah, we had we had Sherman House on the show last week, and he's going up there to help out.
Good. Okay, so all the listeners know about that conference. So I'm going to be teaching there. A bunch of great people will be there. Looking forward to that. And then I've got kind of a slow end of August. I'll be at the Georgia Association of Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors. I'm doing a 2-day combat focus shooting course down there. In September, I'm going to be up in New England a lot. So I've got classes in New Hampshire and in Massachusetts supporting GOAL, the Gun Owners Action League in Massachusetts, a great Second Amendment rights organization fighting in that very oppressed gun rights state. I'll be up in New England for my 20th college reunion at the Military College of Vermont, and then I'll also be teaching in New Hampshire. So looking forward to that. And then Combat Focus Shooting Instructor Conference 2014 is back in Florida, which is going to be my new home base. Of course, ICE Training Company has been headquartered there for several years. I personally am relocating to Florida as well. And I'll be at the Ancient City Shooting Range with all our CFS guys from around the country the first weekend in October.
So you're moving to Florida?
Moving to Florida, yeah. I think this is the first public official announcement, although it's been in the works since about the beginning of the tour. So
you're retiring?
I'm going to stop being homeless. No, not retiring to Florida. Although I was born in New Jersey, it would make sense. That
it does, yeah.
But, no, definitely not retiring, just relocating.
We're not going to come down there and you're got long white socks with loafers and flowery shorts and stuff.
I'm not going to get my dress code may adapt. I'm not saying that, but I will still be working.
You'll just come up with new ways to carry.
So when's the next trip to Nashville?
Actually, I'll be stopping by Nashville next week. I'm going to stop in and see my daughter, so I may get to catch up with you guys because I'll be on the way from Polypalooza down to Georgia. Obviously, I'll be passing through, so maybe we can catch up, have a beverage.
Just let us know.
Yeah, we'll grab your coattail.
Right down to Florida.
As you're passing by.
Do it.
All right, man.
You gotta move fast. You know me. I'll send you guys a text like 10 minutes before I'm in town. Like, all right, hey, let's go.
Yeah, set it up.
Yeah, the last time you were in town, it was tough keeping up. I think I may need to train for this time.
Well, here you go. You got an 8-day, an 8 or 9 day
8-day
warning
grace
Training
period.
cycle. Okay.
Yeah, we got no excuses.
I think we can knock it out.
No excuses. We'll get her done.
Appreciate it, man. Be safe getting back.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
No problem. So Rob has been freaking
No, man.
hemisphere traveler. I was going to say world traveler, but it's not quite world traveler, even though
Well,
he
yeah.
has been off.
Wasn't he?
Oh, he was in Europe last year.
He's a world traveler. He's a
Didn't
globetrotter,
see.
man.
Yeah.
No doubt. But yeah, thanks for him coming on. It was a great segment there. And also, we're talking about the Fox and Friends. If you go to Paul Carlson's, has he got a website? He's got a great write-up on the Fox and Friends interview. That website is safetysolutionsacademy.com. So you can go there, and he's got a great write-up on Rob's defensive firearms storage segment he did on Fox and Friends. So what's next?
I'm still kind of heated about that whole body armor thing. The more I think about it,
Well, why do you? It's just like he said, though. I mean, they're always constantly introducing things like this. It's just up to us to make our community aware of what's going on, so we can vote these ridiculous things down.
There is a petition out there on the petitions part of the WhiteHouse.gov to get rid of this, and they're actually needing some help. It looks like there's only 10,000 signatures. They need 89, I believe. Yeah, I mean it's stupid.
But the best thing you can do is you contact your representative, your local representative, and let them know that you oppose that bill, and keep calling, texting, emailing, however they allow you to get in touch with them. Burn them up until you get a response from them, because they like pushing us constituents to the side with these little demeaning answers of like, what was that one? Remember the one we were doing? And what was that campaign we had going on there for a while?
Talking about the
very first video we did.
Oh, the letter to the gun manufacturers?
Yeah, but it was all based on stemming from something that we were contacting.
Well, it was the assault weapons ban they were trying to push through.
Right, and and the demeaning little responses we would get back from our representatives. I mean, don't take that. Don't take that as an answer. Just
don't take a form letter email back. Yeah.
As an answer. Yeah. Just keep pushing, keep calling, keep emailing until you get a satisfactory response. Because these jack wagons work for us.
And if you want to get involved with...
And they're not all jack wagons, so I'll take that back.
If you want to get involved with Rob's trainings that he mentioned, make sure you go to icetraining.us and you can get signed up for some of those. Another thing that's coming that's cool with guns that I forgot to mention? The VP9's coming.
Yeah.
The HK. So we will get to use it at Circle the Wagons in Denver.
Knock on wood.
Talked to her today. If it's not here tomorrow, it will be here Tuesday. So everything's properly submitted.
And that's just, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, we leave the 26th, if I'm not mistaken. I think something like that.
We need to look at our itinerary.
So, yeah, we're going to go out there, and it's going to be a cool trip for a few days before the actual event. And then the event, we'll get to do some trainings. Get to clear a house. That'll be fun.
Get to clean a house? I hate cleaning houses.
I thought it was clear. Crap. They're going to make us sweep.
Yeah, we get the after clearing the house cleanup.
So in there it says you get the house
clearing drill. You didn't read the fine print, did you?
Yeah, we did a crappy job on that contract, didn't we?
Yeah, we get the house cleaning
drill. One thing that bugged me this week, there's very few celebrity that when something happens to them, it's always sad when somebody dies. Let me take that back. But there's few that get to me. Robin Williams got to me, man. I think
he got to a lot of people.
Yeah, he was a huge supporter of the troops. I mean, I grew up on Robin Williams. Like, my dad showed me all his old stand-up, all his movies. My dad kind of reminded me of him. They kind of favor a little bit, but
I wouldn't say that.
Well, they do. I can show you
Robin
some
Williams is
comparison
short
pictures.
and stocky, and
Well,
your dad's
face.
tall
Their
and
face.
lanky.
Their face favorite. Anyways, yeah, it kind of
I never
bugged me.
thought
but-
Robin Williams was very handsome. It's tragic, no doubt. The man was having some, obviously, mental issues
yeah.
and mental issues, and he probably has all his life. I mean, he
Yeah.
was self-admitted hardcore drug user,
No.
and I think they said he was gotten back into alcohol. I don't know, but it's sad. I mean, the man did a lot of good stuff. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
his movies that he made were,
Huge
for the most
philanthropist.
part, they're awesome. My favorite movie of his has got to be Bicentennial Man. Did you ever see that?
That was a good movie, yeah.
I thought that was an awesome movie. That was one of those that I never heard anything about when it was out.
Yeah.
And I'd watched it some years later. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that was a really good movie. Wish I'd known about it sooner.
But when I heard about that, it was like they took the book I, Robot that they eventually made a Will Smith movie with, and they made it less action movie, and they made Bicentennial Man.
Is that what it was?
It was like the same concept of I, Robot, but it was not action. It was more drama/comedy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was
He's
phenomenal. And
Phenomenal actor.
he was pro-gun. And I was like, my goal was let's get Robin Williams on the show because he's pro-gun. And, yeah.
Here's something good. Heard from our sponsors, HG Press, Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services.
Uh-huh.
And they have been getting some calls from our veterans
Awesome.
needing some help. So
Cool.
they have been helping out real estate needs for some of our Leadhead listeners that are vets,
Nice.
helping them relocate. And whether they're in this state or not, they've actually put them in touch with some agents in other states that are either former military or pro-military, pro-gun. And that's worked out really well.
Awesome.
So Leadheads, even if you're not moving to the Middle Tennessee area, contact those guys at HG Press, Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services, and they can hook you up with somebody in your state. 1-800-615-1840, extension 2222. Pew, 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 pew.
And now it's time for Facts to Fight the Myths. This week brought to you by Savoy Leather. Go to savoyleather.com.
.com?
So this week's myth is Kevlar bulletproof vest will stop any caliber, any rifle, anytime. They're magical bullet force fields,
Bulletproof.
which is false because there's a reason why our military guys have both. Sometimes Kevlar, but
Well,
they
that's
also
why
have to
you
put
see
the
pockets.
plates.
You see pockets in these vests is so you can put either the steel or the newer ones have the ceramic trauma. They call them trauma plates that you can insert in those. And there's different ratings on those plates
Yep.
that you can insert in those Kevlar vests.
Right.
And I think most people know by now that Kevlar won't stop a knife.
Yeah. So it's not this
Either.
magical force field, and that's this week's Fact to Fight the Myth.
Is that all we're going to say about it?
What else you got to say about it? We thought it was fitting because of the Jackwagon of the Week. We've got to stop that stupid bill. Even if you don't own body
Retarded.
armor and you think, oh, well, that doesn't affect me, that's just a stupid bill.
You know, it kind of ties in with the Second Amendment, our right to bear arms. It ties into, it's not our right to go hunting. It's, to protect ourselves from a militant force.
Yep.
What's the word? Government, a tyrannical government or a tyrannical force that's coming over. Well, the bulletproof vest not only, in our day-to-day lives, like we were talking, like Rob was pointing out, where, children can put in their book bags, if there's ever an incident at their school or,
Yep.
something like that. But, it should be our right to be able to protect ourselves from a tyrannical force coming in too. And that bulletproof vest is a form or a way for us to be able to do that.
Which goes back to my point a minute ago. What's their ulterior motive? Because every time they come up with a gun ban, it's all they're death machines. They'll kill a bunch of people. Body armor isn't killing a bunch of people, so
Body
why
armor
the hell?
saves or prevents killing.
So why the hell do they try to ban it just like they
You
would
would
a
think
gun?
they would want every a law out there that every American has to have, that,
Right.
like a seatbelt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like like they freaking force us to wear seatbelts.
So what's the
They
motive
should
there?
they in their minds they should be thinking, well, we want to save lives.
Yep.
We should put a law that everybody has to wear bulletproof vest.
Well, look at
and
what's going on.
body armor.
Look at what's going on in Missouri right now. We're not going to talk about the cause of it and the whole story because we don't get into that stuff here. But we will talk about the riots and the craziness that's going on and the militarization of the police around St. Louis right now.
Yeah.
People out there always hear about preppers or people that own guns for self-defense or, oh, well, we're safe here in Nashville. Nothing like that ever happens. I bet they said the same thing in Missouri.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's
a peaceful
chaos up there.
demonstration turned into a riot.
Chaos, looting. I mean, people were getting robbed in their houses.
Yeah.
And
people were afraid for their lives.
Yep.
You know, the interviews that they were doing with people after the rioting and the looting and everything that went on, the people were still shaken up. They were shaking. Their voices they were in fear of their lives, and they were keeping their faces off camera because they were afraid that some of these people would come back and that was the guy at the shoot. They went everywhere. I mean, they hit all kinds of
suburbs of St. Louis, even out. I think I saw a report where they were hitting some rural areas too.
Yeah,
around
I mean,
St.
they were
Louis.
hitting stores like I can't even remember now. I mean, I'm drawing a blank.
Mom and pop stores to big
like
stores.
Targets and stuff like that. I
Well,
mean,
that's because Target banned guns.
is that what it was? They knew that was a gun-free zone.
Gun-free zone.
Yeah,
but guess what? I saw a picture,
but I guarantee you, these guys those riots wouldn't have been taken as far as they were. And I don't know what the gun laws are in Missouri.
I think they're fairly flexible, from what I know.
I thought they
were.
were.
I understand.
Yeah, but if more people had been armed, these people that were getting violated.
Yeah. Well, there were. I saw a picture, and it was a tattoo parlor in St. Louis in the middle of the riots.
I bet they didn't get touched, did they?
It said this tattoo parlor hadn't been touched, and it had all the artists outside with ARs and AKs and handguns. They weren't touching them.
Yeah.
Same thing. Let's go. Let's
Louisiana.
rewind. Yeah. Let's rewind back to the riots in L.A. The Asian market keepers sat on top of their roof with an AR, and they kept the rioters away, and they didn't get robbed. But 2 doors down, they were getting robbed.
Because they weren't able to protect themselves.
Right.
Same thing in Louisiana when the big floods came.
Yeah,
there.
Katrina. I mean, it was craziness down there. So don't think that, I'm in this area, it's safe. Nothing like that will ever happen here. It could. It could very easily happen. Weather causes it. Stuff like that's going on up there. And don't forget our bandwidth sponsor, SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute. You can go over there to sdi.edu, sign up for the online gunsmithing courses. They've even got build modules, armorer's course, advanced armorer's course.
Got a lot of different courses that you can take.
And it's a legitimate school. There's some schools out there that they just...
It's accredited.
Yeah, it's accredited. That's a big thing.
And the great thing about it is they help our veterans also.
Yep.
They've got great programs available for our veterans. So give them a call and they'll talk to you on how to take advantage of the benefits.
And when you do, make sure you upgrade to the Talking Lead build kit, because then you get sweet tweaked out gun.
Yeah.
Also, Cantu Bruner Designs, CantuBrunerDesigns.com. They make the cool bullet pins. And you can send any shell casings that you've used for, well, I'm not going to say anything. We might have some psycho listeners out there.
Hey, just don't tell them what you used it for. Whatever. Tell him what you want. If you've got a unique idea that you want him to do, run it by him. He might be able to do it for you. Savoy Leather, SavoyLeather.com for your custom leather holsters. Not only leather, but they've got other exotic materials that they can use also. Ostrich and snake and...
Oh, Garrett Bischoff got in touch with Jeremiah.
Yeah?
Over at Savoy. The holster he's making is awesome. It's going to have the American flag background over the whole holster. And it's got the Punisher skull with the Don't Tread on Me snake weaving in and out of the Punisher skull eyes.
Cool.
It's cool.
And Jeremiah designed that?
Well, with the help of Garrett, came up with the idea, and Jeremiah designed it for him. So,
cool.
Yeah, it's a slick holster.
Cool. Yeah, I had posted on our Facebook page. Well, actually, I sent it to Dax, a picture of the zombie pen.
Yeah, I saw that.
With some other zombie stuff. And he had posted on his site, and then I shared it back on our Facebook
nice
site. But
have you loaned it to HG Press to sign any contract?
Well, HG Press has their own Cantu Bruner pens, and they've done several $1 million worth of contracts with the Ghost pen. Not let them use the big zombie pen yet, but probably on their next deal, that zombie pen's going to have a part in sealing the deal.
Nice.
We'll call it the $1 million pen.
All or Nothing Tattoo Studios, allornothingtattoo.com, and their very, very gun-friendly strangleholdmerch.com merchandise store.
Two Vets Arms, twovetsarms.com. Go and support those guys. They're the ones putting up the Bravo rifle for our T-shirt concert.
T-shirt
I say that
concert.
every time, don't I?
T-shirt concert.
T-shirt concert. Marcus Fox going to be there.
T-shirt contest.
T-shirt contest.
Yep.
If you haven't heard, we're having a contest.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Okay. You should enter because your
Yeah.
chances of winning are phenomenal right now with 20.
Less than 20. I think it's
entrants.
around like 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely good chances.
Yeah.
Would y'all be mad if I had like one of my family members do the contest and I didn't tell anybody?
Well,
'Cause that's pretty good odds. No, I won't do that.
Didn't I make a statement in the very beginning that if we didn't have at least 50, then
We get it?
yeah,
Oh, I like that.
yeah, or we get to enter.
Yeah, we can't judge, so we might as well get to it. Just kidding. And definitely, we want to thank Iron Hammer Armory. They're putting together a really good event. I talked to him today, and he is just, you can hear it. He is
Who,
slammed.
Martin?
Yeah.
You talk to him
Yeah. All right. As always, left hand, keep your loved ones close.
and keep them firearms closer.